Okay, we're on Judges, chapter 7, verse 11. And what's going on is Hashem just said to Gideon that if you don't, you should go down to make war with them. If you're afraid, so you and your servant, your arms bearer, should go down. Listen to what they're saying, and then you two will have strength to go down. Fine. So that happens. I'm saying that's what we have. Shamata ma'idaber, so you'll hear. So go down, hear what they have to say. Techazakna yadecha, then your hand will be strengthened. And you will go down in the camp. So what happens? Ufura na'arom. So he and for his young man, I want to call him a weapons bearer, went down El Ketzeach Hamushim to the edge of the camp, to the edge of the armed men, Ashiv Machaneh, that was in the camp. Okay, so Hashem is just telling him, oh, by the way, Hamushim means, according to Mesius Tzion, is a Mezuyanim. That's how they get armed men. And how do you prove that? Because it says in Yeshua, Kita'avru Chamushim, when the armed men will pass over. Also, you have in Shemot, the book of Shemot, where it says they went out Chamushim. Some people say that means the Jews went out armed. Some people say, no, it doesn't mean that, because you take down the word Chamushim, comes to Chamesh, it means 1/5 of the people walked out. So 80% of the people died. That's where you get that whole measurement from. All that from that word Chamushim. Okay, so then Malbim, I think we did this last time, but let's repeat it. It says, if you're afraid to go down to the and then your hand will be strengthened. It says, then you'll go down to fight to them. So he went down to the edge of the armed people. Not everybody was armed. Only those who were at the edge of the camp, they were the ones who were armed. So what happens? Midian, the Amalek, v'chol b'nei Kedem, noflim be'emek. Midian, the Amalekites, and all the children of the east, and it's interesting language, noflim fell, or are falling in the valley, literally. And what it means is noflim does not here mean fallen, but rather, as Mesilas Tzion says, chonim, as they were camped. And again, he's giving you a comparison because he doesn't want you to believe that he's just coming up with these words to make sense. Rather, he says, if you look to Bereshit, when it's talking about Yishmael, I believe Yishmael says, Kol echad nafal, that all of his brothers were encamped. And so he's making the same language here. Okay, so that can be a language of either falling or encamping. And he says they were encamped in the valley, ka'arabet lerov, like as numerous as locusts. L'gmalim a mispar to their camels. There was no number. Kachol sha'al safad hayam lerov. There was as many as the sand that is by the shore, the seashore. So we have a lot of people here. That's what they're trying to get out. Okay. So now what happens? Vayavo Gideon v'hinei ish mispar l'reu chalom. Misapir l'reu chalom. And Gideon came, and behold, a man was telling to his friend a dream. He said, Vayomer, he said, Hinei chalom chalamti, behold, I have dreamt a dream. V'hinei tzalil lechem sa'arim, and behold, a roasted cake of barley bread, mithapeich b'machaneh Midian, and it rolled or tumbled into the camp of Midian. V'yavo ada ohel, and it came until the tent. So vayakehu, and it hit the tent. Vayipol, and it fell the tent. The tent fell. V'yahavchu. I'm sorry. The malav fell oil, and so what happened was it turned it upside down, and the tent fell. So it's 2 times it is falling. Okay, so Judas David says, "Ve'akeo had salil ha'ikad ohel," this barley bread apparently hit this a tent. This is a dream. Hit the tent, v'nafal hu et tocha ohel, and it fell to the midst of the tent. V'hach tachav, so it rolled apparently into the tent. V'havach tachti ohel lamala v'nafal. Okay, so it turned the tent upside down and the tent fell. That's what's going on there. It's an interesting dream he's having. Okay, so he says, the Malbim explains, Haya Az Ted Zayin Nisan. It was then the 16th of Nisan. Sha'az Ktsir Sa'orim. That was the time of the reaping of the barley. Vehem Ba'u Levuz Ktsir Sadeh. And they came, the Midianites, I guess, came to get the how do you say, to destroy the reaping of the field. Shuhu lechem so'orim, which would be the bread of the barley bread. Ra'at salivakol ra'ash salilot lechem so'orim shirachul shalom. Okay, they saw all these things they wanted to take away. Shuhu midhapech machanevin. They saw that rolling through the camp of Midian. Shetachat shetachila hitchavu b'neihem, because they originally were hiding in these things. Now it would roll. It would be what defeats the enemy. It came to the tent, which means until the encampment. Sham ha'ohalim, that's where that's where the tents were. And so it's going to hit it, and they're going to fall. Hu Haggadah. This is he's telling the story, Sheyiplu Chalalim, that they'll fall dead. Ve'chulamala hu Chezyon Sheni, and the fact that they're going to see second vision, Sha'achar Kach. After that, Baruch Hu Menach Emek, they're going to run from the valley and they're going to go to the mountains that are around them. V'sham nafal ohel gamri, and there the tent will fall completely. That's okay. So you understand? He had a dream that they're going to. It seemed like a crazy dream. The bread is going to roll over. So the Malbim is saying exactly what that dream is going to do. That he says it here very nicely. That the Midianites came to plunder. Israel turned on them, defeat them. That they were encamped, and they caused another defeat after they had fled. And that's what it means, that they were totally gone. Okay. So, Vayan Reyehu, and his friend answered, Vayomer, and he said, Ein Zot, Bilti Im Cherev Elokim, this is, Im Cherev Gidon ben Yoash Ish Shel. This is, there's nothing left but the sword of Gidon, the son of Yoash, or the man of Israel. Natan Elokim Biado, Hashem has given into the hand at Midian, into his hand at Midian, V'yakol HaMachana, Midian, and all of the camp. So it's interesting. It's interesting. We're always talking about translation here and the word order. So it's Natan Elokim Biado. Again, if I just looking at that, the phrasing of the words. Hashem has given into his hand. What does he give into his hand? Et Midian, V'yakol HaMachana, Midian, and all of the camp. It's just so interesting. Obviously in English you wouldn't say it like that, but in Hebrew, they want to emphasize what he given to his hand, these direct objects. So Metzudas David starts with saying, Ein Zot, and which means Ein Pitron Acher. There's no other explanation. Rak Yora Ala Nitzchon Cherev Gidon is certainly teaching about the victory of the sword of Gideon, Kashir Diber Kal Kitzalil Havach El Oil, and it's going to be an easy victory for him like we turning over the tents. Hechazek mimeno, Gidon hachalash nitzlach imrov chazak. So again, he's going to come out as a strong person. So it's interesting that you're having this guy tell a dream, and his partner is telling him what the dream means, and yet nobody's retreating. I think I would retreat if I know I was going to die. I think I would retreat. It's just call me crazy, but that's what it seems that you should do. Okay, let's go on. Then it says, "Vayachatz." Wait, did I skip something? Oh, I did. Vayi k'shmo Gidon, and it was when Gidon heard at Mispar HaChalom, the recounting of the dream, Viet Sivro, and also its Shivro and its interpretation. Right, Mrs. David says Shivro means interpretation. Why does he call it Shivro? It broke because Shivro means break. So how do you get to interpretation of that? He says Ki Chalom hu davar tom v'sagor, that a dream is something that is hidden and closed. We don't really understand it. Reality pitron, and through the interpretation, Yeshuvar, it is broken open. Vayuftach is broken and it is opened. Understand? So that's why Shivro would mean interpret him. So and its interpretation, Vishtachu, and they bow down. Why would they bow down? I'll ask you. Why would they bow down? Why would he bow down? I'm sorry. Why would he bow down?
Because they've been delivered.
Right. So he's thanking God. Good. Vayashav el Machane Yisrael, and he returned to the camp of Israel. Vayomer, and he said, Kumu, get up. Kinatana Hashem b'yedchem et Machane Midian, because Hashem has given into our hands the camp, the camp of Midian. I said your hand. It's interesting. He's saying hands. It's not hands. And if it was say Yedechem, it would mean hands. But it's Yedechem because we're looking at Israel as a single unit. Okay, so
it's interesting how you turn a seeming disadvantage of having so few men into an advantage psychologically by making them overconfident.
Who's the overconfident mean to choose?
The Midians.
The Midianites are, but they're not overconfident. They're thinking we're dead already.
Yeah, but a very small thing like this dream of the barley cake can completely overwhelm them.
Right. Well, it's interesting because it doesn't completely overwhelm them. It seems that it was one guy talking to the other, and that's it. So he interprets it. And what happens is, Gidon hears that, and he says, aha, so Hashem is given to our hands. So it strengthens Gidon. As far as the rest of the Midianites, or the Amalekites, and the Bnei Kedem, they don't seem affected. What will happen is, of course, that they'll all be defeated. But it doesn't seem that they know about the dream or anything else. Or even if they do have a foreboding sense, they don't know what's really going on. And we're going to see the ultimate guerrilla warfare here. So, we'll see in 2 seconds. But Vayachatz at Shlosh Meot Ha'ish Shlosh Harashim. So what did he do? He divided the 300 men into 3 camps. 3 camps. V'yitin shofarot v'yad kulam, and he gave each one of them a shofar. V'kadim reikim, and empty pitchers. V'lapidim b'toch kadim, and torches in the midst of the pitchers. So he says, first of all, Rashi says, why do we have shofrot and lapidim torches? And he explains an interesting thing. He says, "Lahazkir zechut matan Torah," to mention the merits of the receiving of the Torah, because when we got the Torah, there were sounds of shofrot, and there were of course lapidim, the lightnings. Upeshuto, and the simple explanation is laila haya. It was night. As it says, it was night. That's why they need to carry the torches. So they could have some. They could see where they're going. So why would they put it into the vessels? Because they shalo yavinu bilapidim, so they wouldn't be able to distinguish with the not just yavinu to understand, but they wouldn't be able to. The people, the enemy wouldn't be able to see everything. Okay. So let me see. What does he say? So he says here, the Alshich explains that the splitting into three groups was done to arouse the merit of our three forefathers. The trumpets, jugs, and torches represent the giving of the Torah. As it says, all the people perceived the thunderings and the lightnings and the voice of the horn and the mountain smoking. Subsequently, they would also realize, and when the people saw it, they trembled and stood afar off, which may be taken as a reference to the submission of the enemy. Similarly, Rashi explains, to commemorate the merit of giving a Torah. However, the simple meaning is that since it was night, as it states, it was dark. Therefore, they took the torches to provide light and placed them in pitches lest the torches would be discerned. To astound and confuse the enemy, they were instructed to sound the trumpets, to reveal the torches suddenly, and make loud noises by smashing the jugs. Okay, so next. So it was, where is it? It's here. Vayomer Alehem, and he said to them, Mimeni tiru, from me you will see. You look to me, okay, you shall look to me. V'chein tasu, and thus you will do. V'hinei anochi ba b'ksei machaneh, behold, when I'm coming to the edge of the camp, v'haya kasher eseh ken yita'asun, and it will be just as I do, so shall you do. In other words, imitate me. And he said, and Rashi explains, many tiru, from me, from me, you will look at me, or you will see it as Shani said, that which I do, Ru'u, that's what you see. It's a command, V'asu can, and then do the same thing. Okay. I forgot the Malbim. The Malbim splits them into three places, right? So Rashi says, Malbim says, Sefer Tachbalatov Shmona Dvarim. We hear 8 things that are going on here. 1, Shechatza Otam, the Gimel Rashim, that we hear that he splits them up into 3 heads. Lavo Begimel Rucho, to come from 3 directions. Shnatan Shofro Biyad Kulam, he gave them Shofro in each one of them. Lahav Vilaim, to Betruat Milchama, to confuse them with the blastings of war. Gave him torches, Lahav Hilam V'amud Eish V'asham, to confuse them with the fire and the smoke. And then Kadim Reikim, empty vessels, empty pitchers. Yitra Uha Lapidim Pit Omza, that way they'll see the torches suddenly. Vishmu Kol, and they also hear noise. Pit Potzates HaKadim, when the pitchers are being broken. V'yomer, and then he says, V'yomer Mimeni Tir'u, from you'll look to me, and thus you'll do. Shelo yasu ad yasehu, so they shouldn't do it until he does it. Achar anochi, and then he says, and after this there's already 5. There's the 5th thing he's doing. Achar shanochi babik se'amachaneh l'chen yehu marchil. So therefore we see that he's going to begin. And vayak asher esa, and then just as I will do, can't assume you will do. Ratz limo, the 7th or 6th already. Ratzalimor shekol ma sheyasehu yasu oto kamohu, and so just as he was going to do, they will do, and now he's going to explain, and we're up to number 7 at this point. The other thing he did was, it says in Yudchet, v'takati b'shofar, when I blow on the shofar, anochi I, v'chol ashiriti, and all that is with me, utkatem, b'shofrot, you will blow on your shofrot, v'gam atem shofrot kol ha'machaneh, on every side, also you, all around the camp, v'amartem l'Hashem v'leGideon, and you will say for Hashem and for Gideon. Okay, so now we'll go to just finish the Malbim. It says, so that you will go, v'shayu, you'll blow the shofar, also you, shayu, hatikiyot, that these blowings will be all around the camp, shebezeh yechashvu, sheish gedudim rabim, because the people will believe, all the enemy will believe that there's many troops around them. Why? Because b'chol gidor gedud echad tokeah. Because with every troop, you have the guy sounding the trumpet. So it makes sense if I had 300 trumpets or a very loud noise. I'm thinking, wow, I'm overwhelmed. I didn't realize there's 300 people here. And so what happens? And that's what they thought. So that's what they thought, that they were totally surrounded on all sides. And then they would yell, Cherev l'Hashem l'Gidon. Yesh Rosh Limor, Yesh po inyan nitzia miyuchas. That this is a miracle. How do you say miyuchas? Does he say Yuchas is I put it to somebody. I say it's his victory. Miyucha, genealogy. I can't think of the right word. I don't see it. What would the right word be?
What's the Hebrew word?
Miyuchas. It means to give it a title after something. Like if I would say you're from a Miyuchas family, it means you have genealogy. It means I know what's going on. So I know your family, sort of thing. So here I don't know how you would say Miyuchas. I can't think of how you're going to like a decent definition for that. But like I said, it means that the miracle is for somebody. La Hashem is. It's not just a miracle. It's not just happenstance. It's a real thing. La Hashem. The miracle is put to Hashem. V'inyan tivayim yuchas, and the matter of the natural part is given. And so is when it comes to the miracle, it's miyuchas to Hashem. You understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And when it comes to the nature, the war part, that's miyuchas l'Gidon. It's recognized as coming from him. So it's all together. That's why they're saying La Hashem or l'Gidon. That's what you're supposed to yell. Mm-hmm. Fine. So that's your 8 steps of how to win the war according to the Malbim. That's the 8 steps that they took to win the war. So now we go on. It says Yutet. So Gidon and the 100 people that were with him came to the edge of the camp, Rosh Hashmoret Hatichona, at the beginning of the middle watch. But they had reason, but the guards had just woken up. They just woke up the guards. It's a causative. And they blew on their shofarot v'nafot akadim, and the pitchers were broken. They smashed them. Ashiv yadam, that were in their hands. So the obvious question is, why did they attack at this moment at the beginning of the second watch? And that's why you have to hear that thing of they recently woke up the guard. So Rashi explains, Kavar b'nei achayel el hashomrim shahita misham that already the people of the army that were the Shomrim, Shahayta Mishmarta Bashmar Tichona, that they were guard, they had the second guard. Shechein Derech Bnei Gaisher Lahamid Shomrim Elu Yishmru Shalish Laila Varishon Ve'elu Shalish Sheni. The Shalish Achron. It's normal to split the day and night up into 3 parts, so that each one is going to have their guarding. So what happens? They're just waking up, and they're not really, they're not really there, as it were. They're not expecting all this stuff, and so that's when they break the vessels, okay, that were in their hands. So the Malbim explains that Vayavo Rosh Hashorah Tichon Sha'az Rovam Yeshenim, because that's when the majority of people were sleeping. Ach Hakim Hekimo et Shomrim, and he just woke up the guards. Hamid Chalfim Bechol Mishmar, that they would just, you have to change every Mishmar, every guard, every watch, I should say. Uvizeh Ha'ochem Shekavu Lishon. So these were going to lie down, and so they were tired. They were, in other words, they were just getting up from their beds. So you had the ones who were going to sleep and the ones who were getting up, and everybody's tired. So Gidon and his men blew on the shofar from the beginning. Fine. So what's going to happen? So here we go. Oh, we said that too. I didn't say that. Sorry. So Chaf. V'yiku shloshet harashim v'shofrot. So now all 3 companies blew the shofrot. Yishbaru al-kadim, and they broke they broke the pitchers. It's interesting. In one place, when it says, if you just look back one pasuk, it says v'nafot kadim, right, and that's smashed the pitchers. Then it says now when it's coming down to it is they broke their pitchers. And it says the reason you use that language, now folks, is Laman Yirop Labidim, so they'll see the tortures and it'll scare them. But it's interesting. Inyan Shavira in Pazor. Apparently that it's either the 2 terms are interchangeable, or I guess that's what you have to say, they're interchangeable. Okay. Hopefully somebody can come up with a better one, but it seems that they're totally interchangeable. Okay, let's go on. Okay, something to keep in mind here. You have 2 words saying what the actions were. First it says the harder one, nafot, and then it uses vayishberu, and they broke their vessels. Okay? They broke their pitcher, sorry. So anyway, so vayachaziko biyad smolam lepidim, and they took in their left hands the torches. Why they hold them in their left hands? Well, actually, no, because v'yad yamina mashofrot.
Oh, they got to keep
their right hand had the shofar. They were blowing. Vayikru cherev l'Hashem v'Gidon, and so they called out the sword to Hashem and Gidon. Okay, this is interesting. So their swords, apparently in their, what do you call it?
Scabbard.
What is it called?
Scabbard.
Scabbard. That's what holds it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, accepted. So apparently the swords are there, and they're holding it up from the. So now the question that you'd have to ask is, why did they have to? Why is it just the story telling us that they had it in their left hands and the right hand with the shofrot, or is there something to that? So the halacha says that we're supposed to blow the shofar with the right side, on the right side of our mouth, because that is for, I believe that's for mercy. I believe that's for mercy on us, so that we're going to win. We're invoking Hashem. It's a part of the prayer. So that's why it's put, I think it's either mercy. I'm pretty sure it's mercy. So what happens? V'yamdu ish tachtav. So each man stood in his place. So around the camp, and the whole camp was running. They were shouting, or they trumpeted, and they fled. The whole camp. So it says v'yariv truot masa. Where is it? Truot masa. Okay, fine. And so what's going on here? This that's 23. Okay. Yeah, so they gather. It doesn't say. Okay. So the Malbim will say on this. That's 22. Sorry. Here it is. V'yamidu. So there's 21. Why am I 23? Oh, here it goes. He says a blast they trumpeted a blast to disencamp and flee. However, the Malbim explains that they trumpeted the battle alarm, but the resulting confusion was such that as some were announcing the battle signal, others were fleeing. Thus, they mistakenly killed those that were fleeing, thinking that they were actually the Israelite enemy. So you have that whole situation where they're killing themselves off because of they're so nervous. Now here's what you would think, that you have so many people, you have as many as the camels, as far as many as the sand of the sea, that you would be able to hold yourself. But bottom line is what we're learning here, besides that Hashem controls who's going to win, who's going to lose, what we're seeing here is no matter how great your army is, no matter how great your army is always going to be open to problems. Okay, well, I have to stop here. There's always going to be fear in the ranks.
This is very similar to a battle in North Africa during the Second World War, where Rommel had this amazing army, all these tanks, all these attack planes, all these armies, and he was going to attack Alexandria. And the high command was so desperate, they listened to a guy that had been on the stage in Britain, and he was an illusionist. And he could create all these things of, people being sawed in half, and he could convince people, and his specialty was sight and sound. And so he created a false city of Alexandria. He had all the lights turned out, and then he had just a few decoy lights to make it look like it was a blackout. So the bombers came and bombed the desert instead of the town.
Wow.
And then what he did was he had speaker systems. So he could have all these battleground noises coming from all different directions, and they would just last for like 30 seconds, and then they would go off. And so you'd hear things like an attack here, and then over here, and over here. And then like the pictures with the light, they don't have flashlights that you can switch on and off.
Right.
But, with these men hiding these lights in these pictures, well, you smash that, there's a sound, but suddenly there's a light flashing.
Right.
And he had all these lights that would flash on different parts in the desert that were hidden. Rommel was, he was supposed to be one of the really nerves of steel general and one of the best that ever lived in tactician.
Right.
In absolute panic, the whole German army ran as fast as they could for about 200 miles.
Really?
and saved Alexandria. And he did this with almost no losses
Uh-huh.
and very, very few troops.
I don't get how was the German army fooled that this stayed